Who goes there?
Dear listeners,
we give y'all a quick decapitation video. Sting! That would be fun. We could talk about people getting murdered and we'll do it in a whisper voice. Yeah, and then he lost his leg.
Hey there. Hey there,
there.
listen.
Hey there.
Hey!
What's up, y'all?
Welcome to Fair Flame, fellas.
Hey there, listeners, and welcome back to Fear and Flame Podcast. I'm Brooklyn,
I'm Mason.
Wyatt.
and today we're talking about night shift stories. So strike a match, light a candle, and settle in. This one is sure to ignite some fear.
Okay. I'm ready.
I'm gonna guess that you've heard the phrase, nothing good happens after midnight.
Yep.
Well, this is especially true when it means you're having to work while the rest of the world is sleeping.
Or you're driving through Tulsa.
Yeah. Or you're doing both, working and driving through Tulsa.
An actual nightmare
Yeah.
scenario.
The night shift has a way of bringing out some of the things that go bump in the night. When the hallways empty out, the lights flicker, and the clocks seem to tick just a little bit louder, even the most logical minds can start to wonder. Maybe it's the exhaustion playing tricks on you, or maybe there really is something, or someone, lurking in the shadows. Let's get into the night shift stories, shall we? So today, we shall.
Shall we?
We shall. We shall indeed, listeners.
Flamers coming in.
The flamers.
We have a personal story that we're doing today. Whoop whoop! This was not
Heck
emailed
yeah.
to us. We
Yeah,
got this
you guys
from our
don't do that.
We got this from our mom, not your mom.
Not my mom.
Our mom.
Yo, mama. Woo! Got him. Send him
So,
by yo, mama.
Wyatt and I's mom is a nurse, and
Shout
we
out.
have this personal story from her. So we put this in as our first one, and then we'll go from there. This is one of the freakiest stories I've ever heard, and it's probably just because it happened to someone that you know. There's just such a difference, like when it's attached to someone that you have a personal encounter with, especially mom, because she doesn't usually tell us stories like, like she doesn't tell us weird stories like that. So anyways,
Because now it's like real.
yeah, it's like
now it's
really
not somebody
real.
that's like, they.
Scary story,
Yeah.
So
That's
this
all a
is
dead
in
man
her
wants.
this is in her POV. I was working the night shift at a mental health crisis center, the kind of place that always seemed to hum with an uneasy energy after dark. It was one of those nights where the air felt heavy, like the whole building was holding its breath. We had a man in his mid-40s, eyes that seemed to follow you even when you turned away. Earlier that evening, he had become agitated, yelling threats and acting dangerously. We gave him medication to help calm him down, and eventually we had no choice but to move him to seclusion. The seclusion room was small, windowless, with a single mat on the floor and a heavy metal door that had 3 locks. One at the top, one at the bottom, and a large twisting lock in the center, like something you'd see on a bank vault. Once he was inside, we locked all 3. I watched him on the camera, documenting his every move every 5 minutes. He was sitting on the mat doing nothing. Outside, the rest of the unit had finally started to settle down. Something interesting about that part is Mom mentioned that it was crazy because of how wild he was acting outside for him to just be sitting on the mat doing absolutely nothing, like how eerie it felt. Just watching him, nothing. No facial expression, just straight face sitting on the mat.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the deal, though. If I got sent to like a mental institution or whatever, the first thing that I would do, my number one plan, would be to act as crazy as possible so they take me away from like the real crazy. You know what I mean? Like so that way I get my own
In
room.
seclusion?
Yeah, so that way that I know that I'm safe and secure. Because if not, then like who knows what these like little like freaking cracked out like like these
Which is
these are the real
sad.
crazy.
A lot of it is drugs.
Yeah.
And she said a lot of the people that got taken there, because cops would drop them off and put them in the crisis center, like for the night or whatever. And it was
Yeah.
people that were on drugs. It
Yeah.
wasn't just people who were going through mental health issues.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I'm not fighting a crackhead. So if
Yeah.
I've got to if I've got to go in, that's on like
He
number
said,
one.
I'm getting put in seclusion.
Immediately,
Yeah.
I'm getting maximum security.
What would you do to get put into
Dude, anything and everything. I mean, I would go ham wild on them, so that way I don't have to deal with being locked in with the cuckoo
It's
house.
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Interesting approach.
So if it was me, I'd be in the same scenario. I'm already like, all right, mission success. We're good. I'm safe for my
I know
remainder.
you haven't really watched Supernatural, but they go into a mental institute because it's a wraith, I think, that's messing with patients because they're like, oh, those people are crazy. They're like, I saw somebody in my room. They're like, sure you did.
Mhm.
Well, Jensen Ackles or Dean has to pretend that he's crazy. And at one point, he gets caught in this room by himself, like checking stuff out.
Mhm.
So the nurse comes in there. He just pulls his pants down and goes, pudding! to make it like seem like he was supposed
Lost
to be in
it,
there.
Yeah,
That'd probably work.
Yeah, it probably would.
that's the game plan.
Then suddenly, I heard a loud commotion echoing through the hallway. I looked up from my clipboard and my blood ran cold. He was standing right in front of me. He walked by slowly, his eyes locking onto mine. There was something in his gaze I will never forget. A deep, chilling evilness. As he passed, he snarled under his breath, I'm gonna kill you. My hand started shaking as I snapped my head back to the security monitor. The seclusion room, empty. The door was wide open. Other staff came running. One of them, wide-eyed, asked me how he had gotten out. We all rushed back to the room, checking the locks over and over. Each one clicked shut perfectly. To prove it, we even locked one of the techs inside. They couldn't open it from the inside, no matter how hard they tried. We stood there silent, the air around us thick with something I can only describe as evil. I had worked many nights, seen many unpredictable things, but I'd never felt such a pure, suffocating darkness before. To this day, none of us can explain how we got out, but I'll never forget the look in his eyes and the feeling that for those few moments we were not alone in that room.
Mhm. And to clarify, there was safety glass in between where she was observing and the common area that the guy had got back into.
But she said she's never wanted to not go back to a job ever so badly in her life. Like,
Because the demon
Based on
man's
a
after you?
patient.
Yeah. I would be hesitant.
and they could never figure out how we got out. She said she believes it was demonic. Like, she thinks 100% it was demonic.
Either that or this
Because
dude
how did he get out?
is just a crazy Houdini. This man made it.
I don't know.
I don't know. He'd do great work as a magician though, if he ever decided to not be crazy.
If
be
he ever
pretty
decided
impressive.
to not be horrible.
You know, but you know.
I just think it's so crazy that mom saw this. She witnessed it herself.
Mm-hmm.
Just insane.
And I do wonder, like in the cameras too, if you can see if it just goes straight from like dudes in and dudes out.
Yeah.
Or
I don't know. I don't know if they ran it back and the door just opened.
just pop
I'm
open.
Sure. I would assume there's probably electronically controlled locks in those buildings. So maybe an electric malfunction or
Maybe.
something.
But man, for
Maybe
all
he
three
just called on
locks.
Cthulhu or some bull. And
The
out he
Labubu.
went.
The
you know.
Labubu.
A little boo-boo doll. He got his little magical boo-boo with him, and he was able to get out of there.
Yeah.
But God, yeah, no, I think the worst part too isn't even the fact that he got, because if he just got out and he's chilling, that's like one thing, you know. It's like, okay, that's weird. You shouldn't do that. But if the dude's like, yeah, so I'm out and I'm gunning for you. I want you.
Yeah,
Then I may be time to go home.
Yeah,
I may call it. I'm not feeling too great,
I'm not
guys.
coming back either.
I'm headed out. I'm gonna go home. Y'all take care of that. Good luck. You
Find
know.
another seclusion room,
Yeah,
I guess, to
it's,
try to lock him in, because that
that's
one
crazy.
didn't work. Well, we have a lot more night shift stories. These are mostly all Reddit, so we'll just kind of read through them. This first one is High Skinny is the name,
Mm-hmm.
and this was 4 years ago. A lot of these are older. It says, one summer I worked overnight at a prestigious county club. This place is over 100 years old. Despite the luxurious renovation, its basement feels haunted. It always gives me chills and bad vibes. Keep in mind, I'm very sensitive to energies. I worked in the basement. I cleaned the basement for 2 hours. Then I got to chill in the members lounge from 12 to 6 a.m. One night, I fell asleep at 1 a.m. in the lounge. Suddenly, I woke up to people talking in the hallway and I heard someone went to the locker room. I was the only one working in the basement that night, and someone went through the security. Okay.
Back up.
Before we get to this, it's not me.
You say
how this is written.
every time.
I was the only one working in the basement that night, and no one went through the security. I started to get chills. You know what? I don't get paid enough to chase after whatever it is. I stayed on the couch while holding an empty wine bottle just in case it was an intruder. Then someone started to shower and they were laughing. They sounded muddy, so I didn't catch what they said. I called the security guard and they got here right away. As soon as we walked into the locker room, they stopped laughing. We walked into the showers and 3 of the showers were on. We tracked the tapes that night. The locker room automatic door was triggered and it opened. Always happened like that, it says. But then the running showers remained unexplainable. After that night, I switched to day shifts outside. Things have been fine ever since.
Which the laughing is weird.
The showers being turned on and the door automatically opening.
That is. I don't know which, because they say that the automatic door always opens on
It does
its own, or
happen
okay.
sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen automatic doors open when.
But the showers, even if the laughing was in their head, the showers being turned on.
That is weird.
A little weird. Yeah.
That is weird. All right. There's no electronically controlled shower that I know of.
Was this where were they working?
They worked at it says county, but I'm assuming it's country club.
I was wondering where the empty wine bottle came in, but
Yeah,
They're at the county, broken in the sheriff's.
county clerk's
it makes
office.
more sense at the country club.
Yeah, it says county, but I'm assuming they meant country.
Good night, son. These people can't spell, apparently.
I'm telling you, it's the Redditors.
Every time, it's always the
Redditors. Spell
Redditors.
check your stuff. I got beef with you.
Brooklyn, I don't know if it's the
You
Redditors.
don't want beef with the Redditors.
Yeah. I'd be weary.
Yeah. Sir Wim is our next one, also 4 years ago. It says, about 17 years ago, I was working the overnight at a hotel resort as their pastry chef. There had always been a change to a wedding dessert choices. So, yes, a case of momzilla, like a momzilla.
Mm-hmm.
So it is about 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm switching over the oven for another round of baking and then step out for a smoke. I hear a very loud bang, like a wall being hit with a baseball bat full on. I go back inside. Absolutely nothing is out of place. Figured something had fallen, but couldn't find anything out of place. So I started working on some of the other desserts for the party. Went over to check the ovens, heard it, and saw it. We have these big 8-inch master locks on the walk-ins because we had some issues with overnight thefts and the security guard that had worked on the property. The freezer door was locked because I had no reason to use it, but the door pushed out as far as the lock would let it. This happened again about 20 minutes later. So just to brush off the willies, I said, if you want to open it, and remove the padlock. Silent the rest of the night. The breakfast chef comes in at 5 a.m., sees me a bit out of the sorts and shaken up. I bring it up. They look at me like I'm totally nuts. About 11 a.m., the chef comes in. I follow him into his office and ask him as well. He had been working on the property since he was 15, aside from whenever he was in college. And point of fact, straight up tells me, no joking, deadly serious, and flat out says, that's probably the old owner's wife. She passed in the 80s during the second year he was working there. They had to keep her body in the freezer because a blizzard had come through and the road was impassable. She was in there for 4 days.
Yep.
Due to the age of the property and the history, there's been paranormal investigators several times before and after that event.
Well, at least they had a freezer.
Yeah.
You know?
It could have been worse.
He
It
told the
been.
Had to
owner's
stick
wife,
her
he said,
outside
if
the
you want to open the freezer, then open it. And the rest of the night, she just left him alone.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having to put, like, I never think about stuff like that. I guess, like, in emergencies or something, having to store, if someone passes away, just having to store the body somewhere until you can have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, up north, I think it's pretty popular. Like where
It's popular. They love it. They do it all the time.
not popular in that sense, but
they're big fans of that up there.
during their winters when the ground's too froze for them to dig graves, they'll store bodies on ice.
Yeah.
store them in freezer.
Just wait till it's,
I'll have my grandma on ice, please.
Yeah, until spring comes around and they can actually dig the hole.
Probably a funky looking open casket, but
I'm sure they do close casket for those.
they're still there. They're
that
mostly
makes me
intact.
sick.
And so what do you do if your freezer's not big enough?
You kind of just that same freezer for.
Well,
like,
they're like body.
illegal?
They're body freazers, I'm sure, like designed.
Well, this
for
one
that
wasn't.
purpose. Well, yeah, that one isn't.
The pastry chef's having to go get his.
Someone may wash it after. I'd say you probably get a little bit on and
scrubbed it
give
down.
her a good little cleanse.
Sick.
But
disgusting.
otherwise, I mean, what are you gonna do? Get a new freezer? No.
Indoor freezer.
Nah, who would do that?
It'd be all right. A little bit of. So what's the difference between that and a little bit of pork laying? It's all meat, baby. All meat.
Christopher Wang, Chief Administrative Officer, 2002 to the present. Back when I was in college, my roommates and I used to work at our event center on the weekends, usually working events and cleaning up and setting up for the next venue. We had roughly 10 to 15 people working these shifts from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. There were rumors that the event center was haunted, but I never really paid attention to it. Here are some interesting things that happened to us. First, my roommate was a shift supervisor and had the privilege of walking through the center after all of us left to make sure all the doors were locked and lock up the front door for the next day. We had just finished setting up for a basketball game for the next day and he was doing his rounds. As he was checking the gym, he decided to shoot a few baskets. As he shot a basket, he heard someone yell, "Hello!" from the gangplank above the basketball court. He looked up and saw a person looking down at him, not dressed in our uniform. He immediately shouted at the person and asked them what they were doing there. The person smiled at him, then moved back into the shadows and disappeared. This was creepy as it was around 3:15 a.m. No one was in the building and he had made sure all the upper floors were locked earlier. There was only one door to the gangplank and he had made sure it was locked prior to going to the basketball court. Also, the gangplank is not too wide, so there was really nowhere the person could hide. My roommate hurriedly locked the front door and got out of there. That's the first story. The smiling and then just backing up into the shadows and just disappearing. No.
I'd
never go back.
That 24-hour gym challenge.
No.
May have been.
He's not, it's too late. You already locked the door, son. I'm in here all night.
Might as well mess with the guy that's shooting baskets.
Exactly.
At 3 a.m.
Exactly. If you ain't got nothing else to do.
Hello.
Gosh.
Dude. And it's just the hello, too. Why do they always say hello and then nothing else?
Because that's a greeting.
If you're going to say nothing else,
That's how you start a conversation.
Hey.
What up?
What's good, man? I would prefer that if it was just started like, what's good?
Then I would feel a lot less scared. Then
I would be like, well, maybe they're not.
They'd probably be all right.
It's probably fine. I mean, he's that cool. He can't be that evil,
The next one says, I usually clean the locker rooms during my shift. They're by the arena floor and are pretty remote from the rest of the cleaning and setup crew. There were times when it would get really cold in some spots for no reason. I would also hear faint voices talking and laughing from the showers, but would find no one there. Also, what's up with the showers? Why? What's so funny in the shower?
People get stabbed in showers, I think, a lot.
What's so funny in the shower?
Yeah, what are we laughing about in the showers? Why are we talking in the shower? Get in, use your soap, get out.
Hey,
also, the hairs on the back of my neck would stand up constantly for no reason. When things happened, I would clean up fast and leave. One time, close to leaving, I had to use the restroom. I went to the main restroom and sat down to do my business. Even though it was pretty early in the morning, I did my routine of checking the stalls to make sure I was the only one in there. Out of habit. While I was in the middle of doing my business, the toilet next to me flushes. The sink turned on and off, and then the light shut off.
Kind of just sounds like somebody was in there.
Yeah, I just is like, man.
All the stalls.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he didn't check them that good.
Yeah.
It says, I was in the pitch darkness and had no way of seeing, as this was prior to cell phones. This scared the literal out of me, and I cleaned up as best as I could and got out of the stall. I thought one of my coworkers had messed with me, but after I turned on the light, no one was there, and no one was on my floor when I left the restroom. When I asked the crew about it, no one had been on my floor as they were all in the office getting ready to go.
Yeah, that's what I'd say too after I scared a guy by flushing the toilet and shutting the lights
at
off.
all the stalls first. Go into
You
the
know what?
restroom. How do you not see someone walking back in?
And here's the deal. If a ghost has the courtesy to wash their hands after using them, you can too. Okay, wash your hands. All right.
Good
I've
point.
seen-
It's
I've
for
gone
turning the
through
light
multiple.
off too. Like you're gonna flush the toilet.
Well,
wash
the
your
ghost
hands,
probably
freaking
checked
out.
too. He probably thought he was in the clear.
Yeah, he may have thought he was the only one.
Well,
I'll save a little
terrible.
electricity on the bill.
Exactly,
This
Yeah,
month.
he said, "This guy, he forgot to turn off the light. I guess I'll
exactly.
do it."
Turn off the light too. I mean, this guy, it's got manners. At the
Yeah,
very
it does
least,
have manners.
you know.
That's the one that said hello. He greeted
Exactly.
them, smiled.
You know, the ghosts are polite at the very least.
From Cora, Jerry Mann.
Did you have to subscribe to read the
No.
like paid
Not this one. This
members
is one
only?
of the free ones.
Heck yeah.
I think the ones that get the most views and stuff, usually they'll show them. But if you start scrolling down, it's like, oh, what's your email?
Yeah,
No,
here's on
you're
it.
not getting my email.
Said, heck, everybody else already has it. I mean, shoot.
Yeah.
Cora might as well.
We took my wife's sister on a walking tour of the Alamo during her visit from Pennsylvania a few years ago. The story of the Alamo has pretty much reached mythical status where a hardy band of Texans put up a last bastion of defense against massive hordes of invading Mexicans.
Who wrote this?
You could probably
Does
be
he
a little more
reside?
politically
Does he
correct.
reside in?
Pennsylvania.
Ah, I see you, Donnie. I get you
Remember the album.
on one of the burners. Okay.
Is that okay to say?
What? Yeah, we're doing that right now.
You already said it.
Okay. Reality wasn't quite like that, but what is real is that a couple of those fighters in the Alamo were Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett,
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
which is made for some interesting movies, to say the least. This guy was like, you know what? The Alamo, I'm glad it happened.
Pretty solid. Pretty solid.
I got some good movies out of it.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing you'll see around the Alamo and during special celebrations in San Antonio are reenactors. These are folk that dress the part of the historical Alamo figures, complete with muskets and costumes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, about the late night shift thing. My wife's sister always asks questions, mostly offbeat questions, so she wandered up to a security guard during our visit and asked, "Have you seen any ghosts here?"
Of course.
This is pretty much what the guard told her. I guess it was around 2 a.m. and I was walking my rounds on the walkway around the building. As I turned a corner, I saw a fellow dressed in a pretty shabby attempt at a reenactment costume. He was carrying a musket and had a knife in his belt. I thought he was one of those reenactors, probably drunk. "Sir, you can't be in here. The grounds are closed." I was thinking he must have stayed hidden after the monument closed because all the entrances were locked tight. The gentleman walked toward me and removed his battered hat and stopped in front of me. He calmly looked at me up and down from my head to my feet. His hair was grayish and seemed dirty, like he needed a shave. "Sir, I'll walk you to the gate. You need to leave." He had put his hat back on his head, looked me in the eye, and nodded. He then turned and started walking toward the high adobe wall, almost dragging his musket along with him. "Sir," I called out. He just kept walking. He approached the wall and walked through it. I stood there and was shaking. It made no sense. I refused to work the late night shift by myself for a couple of weeks after that. I have since become convinced that he was the spirit of an Alamo defender. There was no exit through that wall there. I swear that he calmly walked through the wall. I would never have thought to ask this question of the security guard. My sister got it right. I just got goosebumps listening to that.
They're also nice.
Yeah.
They are respectful ghosts.
At least, yeah, like it wouldn't, that one, it would have freaked me
Yeah,
out
yeah,
seeing him
yeah.
walk through
But
the
it's like-
wall, but like it's not like I feel
Yeah.
in
Threatened.
danger.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I can go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember
Got
going
you,
to the
boss man.
Alamo.
And it feels,
Yeah, there's like a solemn kind of feeling there.
yeah, very heavy. It feels very heavy at the Alamo for sure. Have you been there?
I've never been.
Really?
I've never been. I think it would be. I can imagine though, because that is like 400 something men died, right? It's
I don't
protecting them.
remember how
Let me
many.
look.
Something
see.
like that. It was like I think it was 400 versus 2,000 against the Mexican army. I can't remember.
I'd be spitballing. I don't remember either.
It said 182 to
Oh, I'm
260 Texans were killed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it wasn't a lot.
Estimates range from 400 to 600 killed and wounded altogether.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was quite a few people that died there.
It
Yeah.
was
And
the,
it was
the Spanish general or Mexican general, whatever they were considering themselves at the time. It was Santa Anna, wasn't it?
That sounds right.
Or am I
Something like that.
misremembering?
Something like that. And I just remember, that it was like 10-1. So the fact that they held up that long was pretty
Yeah.
solid. But yeah, no, there's a lot of people that if there were to be a ghost somewhere, the Alamo's probably.
Yeah.
That's a good.
It is.
If you had to find one,
He didn't say anything. He was just like, he's like, you need to leave. And the guy was
Deuces.
All right.
Sound good.
he turned around.
Said you're looking pretty professional. I'll head out. You know what you're talking about. Good night.
This is the next one. It's a Cora story, I'm assuming, too. I don't have the name on this one. No, it's Barbie Grant
All right.
is the name. It says, I used to work night shift at a nursing home. I had just started doing my nightly pickup of laundry outside the rooms where they leave their laundry bags. There was a man I'll call Chuck, who was a resident. He hated leaving his laundry outside his door because he thought he wouldn't get his clothing back. After reassuring him for the millionth time, he finally let me take it. So this particular night started off strange. Lights flickered and residents seemed uneasy, fitful sleeping and walking around aimlessly. We tried to get everyone in their rooms and get them in bed. I did notice Chuck wasn't out, but then again, he wasn't the social type, so I just brushed it off. As I'm doing my rounds, I see Chuck dressed and sitting at the end of the hallway where his room is. I say to him, Chuck, why are you dressed and out of bed? It's late. He turns toward his room and goes in. I finish with that end of the hall and start walking toward his room. As I approach, the lights in the hallway go out. I take my cell phone and turn on the flashlight. Chuck is standing on the other end of the hall that I had just left from. Confused, I say, Chuck, how did you do that? He walks toward the game room behind a wall, and I lose sight of him. I call my supervisor and let her know Chuck's walking around in the dark. I'm too scared to walk there alone to get him and send security to help me find him. Security shows up and we go into the game room. No Chuck. Security asks if I'm sure that I saw him, and I say I'm absolutely sure. Let's go back to his room. At this time, I'm simply dumbfounded as to how this is even happening. We go into his room and Chuck has died. No alarms went off on his monitor, nothing to alert us that he was in any distress. The clothes I saw him in were in a bag with a note on top that said, I couldn't take them with me.
Well, that's
I still get chills when I tell this story. Weird night.
I would be. I mean, you have a pretty solid idea of what happened.
Yeah.
Not great to know that I can't bring my freshest fit with me there if I've got to go. If I get all dressed up in a suit to get thrown in the ground,
That's so creepy to see him at one end and not the other.
Just
Come
bought
on,
'em.
man. These are my new J's, dog. Yeah, no, that's
Oh, Chuck. Old people are scary enough. I don't
Clip
need to
it.
see him. I don't
Clip
need
it.
to see him at one end of the hall and then turn and then be at the other
And
end of the
they're
hall. I
around.
don't like that.
Yeah, I know the agile old people are terrifying.
That is terrifying.
I need you to be in
Check
your
off the
yeah.
multivitamin.
You gotta be. I need you to see you kind of limping around in your walker, dude. You can't be jumping from place to place like that. All right.
You don't move like that anymore, Chuck.
You only got a couple more years. We can narrow that down real quick, okay? Ain't nobody gonna know.
Oh boy.
Good night. No,
Slowly start taking away his multivitamins. Like you said. Terrible. Okay, the next one does not have a name for real this time. It says, I'm in law enforcement. Me and my partner get sent a call from an alarm activation. No big deal. But this is not one of our usual alarms. It's a new one we've never been to before. Takes us longer than normal to find the house because it's way back off the road and no lights are on. We finally find the place and it's super creepy. Spider webs everywhere, nothing outside the house like a trash can or knickknacks. We split up per the usual to check the outside for open doors or windows. I go one way, he goes the other. The house is 2 stories. I get this sort of garage carport looking thing along with a locked shop of some sort on the first floor. Nothing weird seen or heard. Partner still making his way around to me from where we started. I find the stairs to the 2nd floor and head up. I wind up on a giant covered porch attached to the house. It's huge, literally the size of the carport below, with about 4 sets of wicker outdoor furniture. I'm looking around, don't see anything super weird. Partner finally gets me to upstairs and we talk about the weird layout for a minute. During this time, I feel slightly unsettled, but am unsure why. I start looking a little closer through the sliding glass doors at the front of the house. My partner tells me everything is locked up from his side, and there's even vines growing over some windows and doors. I start noticing little things in the living room. The carpet looks like it's from 1962. No TV, no electronics in general. Very 60s layout. I thought all that was a little weird, but I've seen a weirder on this job. I then asked dispatch what the alarm activation was. I get told, attic exit. Super weird and very specific, but okay. So we start looking around best we can in the living room. No attic. Then it occurs to me. What if it's outside this giant covered porch? I look up, sure enough, directly above me is an attic. I can see the alarm sensor boxes on it. I look at my partner and tell him I'm not going up. He suggests we rock, paper, scissors for it. I'm an idiot and I agree. I lose, so I'm going into the attic. At this point, we've made jokes about how weird all of this is. I'm slightly unsettled, but haven't said anything and literally never seen an attic outside that has alarms. Also, who leaves their house looking like it's the 60s still? No renovating it. I reluctantly pull my gun out and start climbing the ladder. Should I mention that I'm chubby? Attics and ladders are not my friends. Stick my head up just far enough to see there are no people and not a lot of stuff up there. And it smells really weird. It smells like old people have been living up there for 20 years. Like dead old people. Not actual dead bodies, thankfully. But like the smell of old people has died up there.
Wow.
They're very specific about how the smell is. I quickly come back down with nothing but the weird smell to report. I shrug it off as we go to leave. My partner pulls up next to me jokingly saying, "We're looking at this the wrong way. We weren't looking for someone getting into the attic. We should have been looking for someone getting out." We both laugh it off as a weird call or a weird job and drive off. As we drive back to our hiding spot a mile or so away, me in front of him in separate cars, I see what looks like a person standing on the roadway out of the corner of my eye. It looked like a black female wearing dark clothing, holding a light-colored bag, though I only saw the person for a split second. I'm not 100% sure of what I saw, so I waited to see if partner said anything about it. A few seconds after I passed whatever I saw, my partner calls out over the radio that he and I are getting out with a person in the roadway at a given intersection. I turn around with him. This all happens probably within 20 seconds. We turn around and can't find the person. They vanish completely. We described the person to each other and both definitely saw it, and the same thing. No idea where the person went. It was less than half a mile from the creepy house. So, we're pretty sure that we're both haunted now, thanks to work. We've had one more instance of weird unexplained things happening, but we attribute it to our ghost. So that's the story of how I became haunted and ran into a ghost that I accidentally released. I think more than likely it was somebody that just broke in to stay at that house.
Yeah. I think it's crackhead. It popped up in them.
But it's weird that it only went off of someone going out instead of going in, because they had to have gotten in there somehow. Like, why did the alarm not go off when they went in versus as they left?
And that's the spooky part, right? And like,
the weird part is having alarms on the house
that's
it's
true.
so
Like active
old.
alarms as well.
So,
And there's no knickknacks in the yard, no paddywhacks, nobody giving the
no
dog a
knick-knack,
bone.
no petty.
Never heard anybody say like knickknacks as a serious thing.
How does that work? Like, does an alarm go off and it immediately sends it to the
I think
police?
it's like a ADT type thing where it's like
Yeah.
you got a home security system.
If you don't shut it off soon enough.
It reports it to the company, and the company calls the police
So
normally.
it looks like no one's living there.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
no one's living there, can you still have some?
You could have
if you
security on
I mean,
anything.
if you still got electric hooked up and you're paying your ADT bill.
Yeah. But it's odd that somebody's still paying for both the electric and the constant alarm
Supervision.
surveillance.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the weird part of why would they care.
Yeah,
So,
it's interesting.
like an
I don't know how I feel about that.
60s home. So, but it may have just been a crackhead. It was probably just a
More than
crackhead.
likely a squatter.
Yeah, like just getting in.
I'd rather have a ghost. They're
Then a
nice.
squatter? Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
squatters
rather
are
have
kind
a
of
ghost
rude.
than a real person. But
Yeah.
I've heard a story about someone over south of town where they had a squatter and they found like their cans and
I don't
I
remember.
think it happened.
pallet stuff.
I know I've been at one of my dad's friends' places, and I think I've told you guys to where like it was like by the they have like the railroad tracks go through their land or whatever, and like by the railroad track they found like a couple Walmart bags, toiletries, and like food and stuff like that. So they're probably just squatting on that land waiting for like another train to come by. And
I would hate that.
Yeah.
I would not want a train that went through my land. That gives me
that is
bad
like
vibes.
yes,
Yeah, I know kids that have found like on private land around the rivers and stuff have found little squatter camps and things. Like while they're fishing or hunting or whatever on public land.
That's
Finding squatter camps and
scary.
I think supposedly the woods kind of between the schools and the tractor supply and stuff like that's supposed to be where a bunch of homeless people go and hang out
a lot
in the
of that
woods.
out now, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been
They've cleared a
clearing
lot
that.
of it out.
Yeah, because I think
probably because of that.
Yeah.
They don't want creepy people by the kid
Yeah,
right next
by
to the school.
I think that's seriously like
I'm sure.
like I've heard that was been a popular homeless camp or whatever for people to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
knew there was a guy under 48 Bridge they found a couple months ago that they said he had enough stolen bikes to start a bike store underneath the bridge. He was living under there.
that's kind of funny. Why would you even
Because they are
just like
redoing that, right? Is that the one they were
48
redoing?
Bridge?
Oh,
No,
maybe
they
not.
just somebody reported it. I think they probably seen him taking another
hilarious.
bike down.
and they just like is another one for the collection?
Yeah.
And there was other lot like push
He's like
mowers and
Ariel, the
stuff.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
He just for his little trinkets.
Look at this stuff. Isn't
Good
it
night.
neat?
Who is it that apparently at work people are trained, like a lot of the linemen and stuff are trained to be able to tell if people that weren't supposed to be there have been there recently, and B, to look out for like little crack and like meth houses or whatever where they're like cooking crack.
Well, we were talking last night. He works for natural oil and gas, and that's a big thing that they have to be able to look out for because they go into people's houses and stuff. So they basically told them, like, if you see all these ingredients or if you see this going on or whatever, like to report.
It's a serious thing that they have to deal with because like people do it like buy their stuff and it's like, hey, you can't cook meth here.
Yeah, that's a dangerous.
That's actually illegal.
Yeah. You're going to explode you and this whole thing. So maybe don't.
Yeah, that's
do
what
that.
they do the natural gas too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be on the lookout.
Yeah, because like that's not gonna be on us if we blow.
No.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen one or two like little abandoned cook sites before. You can see like empty Sudafed boxes and
It's
stuff.
insane.
Yeah. God, I think I might be on the list to not get Sudafed. I don't know why, but I remember I did try to get it one time, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, I think our like system's down." Which apparently that happens, but I think that's just the good old like we don't want to make the crackhead mad. And be like, no, we're not gonna sell it to you. So I think
Our system is not working right now.
So I think I'm off the list for Sudafed for some reason. But whatever.
Got it one too many times.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Short span of time.
I was like, this whatever. Forget y'all. I'll go make my meth with something else.
This is the last story I have, and this is another Reddit one. It's called, the name of the user is ShatUpDH. This one's old. This is from 5 years ago. It says, not me, but a friend used to work as a night custodian for an elementary school, which I immediately thought of your Papa Brett, which the building itself was rather old, built in the 40s maybe. He was the third shift guy, so he took over from the second shift guy at like 9 p.m. He was basically there to mop the floors and make sure no one broke in. If he got all this stuff done, he pretty much was free to do whatever he wanted. He just had to stay in the school. Often, after he finished doing his work, he'd go hang out in an office because there was a small TV there. He said things started off innocently enough. Lights turning on in classrooms where he knew they had been previously off. Cabinets and doors opening and closing on their own. He didn't pay much attention to it at first. He was sort of on the fence as to where he believed in the paranormal. It says, paranormal activities he shrugged off as coincidences. At first, he would go and check the noises out. Sometimes he'd creep around and try to catch someone in the act, in case there was a way in that he didn't know about. After a month or so, he gave up looking and just learned to ignore it. He'd asked his boss about it and just gotten blown off. Over the coming months, things progressively got worse. Doors no longer closed on their own, they slammed shut. He heard noises like children playing, sometimes screaming. He'd find trash cans turned upside down. He'd have things thrown at him, but he would be clearly alone with no one or anywhere for somewhere to hide and throw things at him. He contemplated quitting, but he was making good money for being nearly out of school, and he needed the money for family stuff, so he stuck with it. He'd come in, rush through his duties for the night as quickly as he could, and then go and sit in the office, where he'd turn the TV to where he could sit facing the door, and that's where he'd sit until the morning crew came in at 6. He didn't want to admit it, that he was scared of being in the school by himself at night, so he tried to tough it out and made a lot of excuses to try and explain what was going on. The last straw for him was the night he was sitting in the office watching TV and felt someone grab the chair from behind him and flip him over backwards. There was clearly no one in the room and no way for anyone to get into the room without him seeing them. He picked up the office phone and called his boss at home in the middle of the night, said he had quit and he would be back in the morning to turn his keys in. He was a believer in the paranormal after that experience. He said that it wasn't until years later that he found out from someone who'd researched the history of the school before it was torn down that there used to be a pool inside of the school. A number of kids had drowned in there over the early years. The administration decided to expand the building, so they filled the pool with concrete. So they think that it was haunted by kids that died in the school.
To be fair, if either I was a crackhead or a dead kid, 100%, like I would pass the time by messing with like the night janitor that nobody would believe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, might as well. You got nothing else to do. It's like 3 a.m.
It's one thing to throw stuff, but if you're tipping chairs...
Dude, you're sitting there and you're yanked out of your chair in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and nobody's there? Yeah.
I'm done. That's enough for me. I'd be turning into... I don't even think I'd be like, I left my keys in the building. You guys can get them.
No.
Because I'm not ever going back there
Y'all
again.
load my stuff up and put it in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Shoot, son.
Like, I would never.
God.
And I wouldn't stay at a job. There's no explaining cabinets opening and closing on, lights turning on and off. There's no explaining that away for me.
Mhm.
If it happens, I'm done.
It depends on how much money I'm making.
Yeah.
You know what? If I'm making good numbers,
What would be the
you know,
number that would be worth it to stay?
I think it's lower than you think it'd be.
Really?
I think I could explain away a lot if the job is easy and the money comes.
Yeah.
Well, if that job is easy enough, I guess. Like, if you're literally just mopping and watching just to make sure no one's breaking in. It sounds like most of the night he was just chilling, just hanging out there,
Yeah, watching
waiting
some
until
TV.
the morning came.
Yeah. If
But isn't that almost weird, like worse not having something to do? Like
It
just
can
waiting.
be. So I've had jobs where there's days that you didn't like really have anything to do. And that's just painstaking.
well, I mean, now you do have something to do. You can go hunt ghosts
Yeah.
in your evening hours, you know, and then that could be your full time gig now. Instead of, but I'll be honest, for 6 figures, I'll let a chair flip once.
Oh, easily.
You know what I mean?
6 figures.
I would.
I'd probably let a chair flip once a week.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I was like,
guys, here we go again.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't have it sit down all the way right. It's all right.
Check the wheels and
Yeah,
stuff. You
I was
know.
like, that's
I think I just wouldn't be sitting in the chair
Yeah,
anymore. I think
man.
I'd sit on the floor.
one slippery old chair, son. I'll tell you what. Said, hey.
He probably just leaned too far back.
Yeah, it'll be fine. You'll be all right.
Yeah, and quit leaning back in this chair.
You'll be all right. You know, what's a couple rocks thrown in the back of your head?
Yeah.
Kids dumping over a trash can again.
Yeah. Maybe
Cabinet
start
doors.
throwing rocks back.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, son. I'll fight back.
They'd come in and the school be destroyed because I'd be running through that thing. Like, I'd be trying to get out.
I'd fight a ghost for 6
Oh,
figures.
yeah. I'd be like, this is paying my mortgage,
Yeah,
okay?
I was like, you're done, buddy.
Do whatever you want. Just let me stay in this room by myself.
Yeah.
I'll
The
watch
rest
some
of school
TV.
is y'all's.
Yeah. Hey, don't mess up what I clean, though, okay?
Yeah.
I get paid by that. Okay, do whatever else,
Yeah.
but good night.
You know what I'd do? I'd be like, oh, you want to go to the pool?
I can get another round one made if you miss it. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know, we could figure something out.
We'll come to an agreement.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a job where you've had to work at night? I don't think so.
I
haven't.
tell you what I had to work at, sometimes I'd have to work at Walmart till 11. And I feel like that's probably just as scary walking
Because
through
of
that
the
parking lot
rockets.
at night.
It's scarier for
Yeah. You know,
I've never
I'd
had
take a
any-
ghost
yeah.
over that.
sure.
I've had really early hours, but never night. I mean, I've
Early
worked-
can be rough too,
I've
though.
worked jobs where you might have to stay that night, but
Nothing ever creepy that you
No.
no.
They're just crackheads.
Yeah, witches can be really scary.
And they're worse than ghosts, dude. I mean, if ghosts are washing hands and saying hello and, you know, closing doors behind them, then whatever. Let them in. You know, but if a crackhead, he'll come and run you to your car. Ain't no good.
I saw this video on Instagram yesterday. It scared the heck out of me. They were in Texas. They live in Texas, and they're at the light. And a crackhead's like up at the front, like looking like he's trying to get money or whatever. Mm-hmm. He sprints as fast as he can to the passenger side window, just banging it.
Yeah, that's
and that gave me a hard time watching it.
To be honest, I would find that. I'd do that all the time if I was a crackhead. Just mess with people like that. Like I wouldn't really do anything to them, but like I would.
I'm gonna get some.
I would like to get a you know, and let them know the world ain't safe. You know? You gotta watch out.
This is my bridge.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you a riddle.
Yeah, seriously. Actually, if you look to the left, this is my collection.
So this
of bikes.
we've got this nice mountain model for about $15.
You want a little girls with the bell on the front? I got that too. It's right in the back. Let me go get it for
I've
you.
got a little third wheel we could throw on the side here. You know,
that's terrible.
What was he collecting them for? Did he just find?
I'm sure he's gonna sell them.
Nah, he just was a big fan of bikes. Maybe.
I think he actually was just building his collection. I don't think he was selling those.
He's like, I hate.
Oh, this is a '73 model. This is vintage.
This is my dream bike. This is my end game right here. You know, he probably quit by the time the police came and found him, and then ruined the whole collection.
They were just. You know, he might have really had something
he got the one
going.
bike he really wanted, and then went to jail.
It was finally done, and then now they took them all back. So
the real question is, what do they do with those bikes? Do they try to find their home? Put them on
I doubt it.
Facebook Market? Like,
hey, the department needs some money too. You know,
take it to the auction.
It's a dog eat dog world.
They actually didn't take him to jail. They said, if you give us all these bikes,
you're like, because it's '73 vintage, is
right.
The banana seat and chrome fenders.
Wonderful.
Do you know how many like little Christmases that we can fill up with this, so we can save some money? Come on, son. I do want to see some cops on some bikes, though. I think that'd be fun.
It'd be hilarious.
I'd outrun them. I think I could do it.
On foot?
Oh yeah.
Maybe uphill.
You seen a couple of the cops around here? I think I could do it.
I guess.
If they no longer have a motor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the stories I have for today. So we'll close her out. Thank you so much for joining us in today's episode. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. We want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. Leave topic ideas in the comments or find our email in the description below to send us your scary stories.
Just leave a comment with something in it. We'll probably do a video on it.
Do a police emoji, siren emoji, crackhead emoji, if there's one of those. Bicycle.
Please interact with the video.
Find us here next time on the Fear and Flame podcast.
Smash that like button. Hit subscribe, Fear and Flame. See you next time, Flamers. We're out.
We're out.
Drop the mic. I don't understand.
What happened?
My phone didn't record it at all.
Why would your phone not record at all randomly?
It recorded for 7 seconds and then shut off. Fully charged. Had enough storage. Right, Mason? It does have storage, right? What is he doing? What are you doing? Did I have storage?
Are you sure the way it was holding, like on the mount?
It could have been the freaking mount. The mount could have turned it back off.
It could have been the mount.
So, does your volume?
Mount, bro. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of not having both POVs the whole thing. It's frustrating.
Is there a way to flip? Can we flip them out where everything is not in front of the screen? You know what I'm saying?
Well, because
whenever you have it this way, the screen is facing this piece. You flip it around and the screen will not be, there will be nothing, you'll be able to see the full screen. Why not just film it like that? That's how these mounts are meant to be.
Because I don't have common sense. Quiet.
Even the professionals that have like million channels,
But not as many times as we have done it.
Yeah, but we don't have million view channels either.
No, we've done it like 10 times.
We don't even have 10 videos.